Okay. Wales v England. I'm going to have to try my hardest to not just be an England fan. I'll try my very hardest. But I've got a question that I want to say. In the comments, tell me which players today on either side played themselves into a World Cup squad and which players played themselves out of a World Cup squad. I think there's definitely some in both camps, which we will discuss. So the full-time whistle has just gone. Can you tell I'm an England fan? Well done, Wales. 20 points to 9. Convincing win in the end. And were just more clinical and took their chances when they had it. I think there was a point when Wales scored their second try. They'd had 3 entries in total into the England 22 and they scored 2 tries. And England had had 22 entries and come away with absolutely nothing. Now, I understand both of these sides were experimental. More so Wales, even. So, well, Wales did have a few first choice players in. Well, so did England. But I think for that reason, Wales got to feel very good about that. England, I guess my overwhelming feeling is like these guys have been in camp for a month. And we've got the same time again until the first game in the Rugby World Cup. And the lack of cohesion was massively concerning from an England perspective. They've been in camp for a month together. It looked like some of those combinations, people running into each other and passes going down. It looked like they'd just met in a scratch team. So anyway, so I don't want to be too negative because well done Wales. They totally deserved the win. There was a lack of quality across the board in some respects, particularly in that first half. It was a dire first half, wasn't it? It was just errors all over the place. It had like a 12-9 or 9-6 scoreline written all over it. So I'm pleased that there were some good attacking rugby in the end, which came from Wales, unfortunately from an Englishman's perspective. But what can we say about this game? Well, I'll tell you, I'll break the video up into different sections. We'll talk about England highlights, Wales highlights, talk about the lessons we've learned. So I'll start with England highlights. And that was the end of the section talking about England highlights. No, that's unfair, actually. There were a couple of players that really showed up. Lewis Ludlam never gives less than 100%, does he, that guy? I love Lewis Ludlam. And in a really competitive area in England's back row, there were opportunities today for Alex Dombrant and Tom Pearson and Tom Willis when he came on to put their hand up. And I don't think anyone did enough to make Steve Borthwick think that Lewis Ludlam hasn't got to be on that plane or possibly train to France. Yeah, so Lewis Ludlam was great. Joe Marchant, he's probably in England's other toughest position in the back 3/outside centre channel. And England have got a lot of different options there. And he did everything he could today in a poor team that didn't play very well. Lee Halfpenny, actually, it's worth saying congratulations to him on 100 caps. He deserved that moment. Probably deserved a better game for it, but he got the win. And he'll be very happy tonight. And, I don't know, will Lee Halfpenny make the cut for the squad? You'd imagine he'd probably go along in the 33. But 100 caps is no mean feat. And in the back 3 for him, he's got a worldie of a talent alongside him in Lewis Rees-Zammit. I kind of wish that try of Lewis Rees-Zammit's had been given because it was just audacious and rapid. And I love his 90s curtains that he's got going on with his hair and a lovely tan as well. Speaking of hair, Gareth Davis, you have to actually deliver the goods when you have a haircut like that. And he did, in fairness to him, with his try. Delivered when it mattered. What did we learn from that game? Well, we learned that Pool C is a joke. Well, the whole draw for the Rugby World Cup is a joke, obviously, with the disparity between the two different sides. But that graphic that was shown up where the rankings of Australia, Wales, Fiji, Georgia is 8, 9, 10, 11, and Portugal are 16. It's just crazy, that poor. I mean, it's why Wales have and had to generate some momentum, which they have done with a lot of young and inexperienced guys coming in. England, conversely, their first game's against Argentina, and they look a mile off where they need to be to compete against Argentina. Again, does that mean most of the guys that were involved in Cardiff today are not going to be trusted in 4 weeks' time? It's that close, or 4 or 5 Saturdays' time. Anyway, it's getting close, far too close for my comfort. if I'm honest, as an Englishman right now. England, so many errors, handling errors, and they're lacking in potency and attack, didn't you think? Just, I don't know, it's just that final few percent of accuracy. And there's a few other players that are like a lot. We've been hearing about Joe Thockner-Singer. His skin fold tests are amazing. He's never been sharper. But it's just that at that elite level, the margins are so small. You could imagine Joe Thockner-Singer scoring 5 tries against Chile, but against Argentina, you've got question marks, haven't you? And I think the same might be true of Marcus Smith. I love him. He's so talented. But at international level, he doesn't quite appear to be able to run a game. And again, the mitigating factor for him is the whole team underperformed. So it's hard to judge a 10. But then again, it's in performances like that, you kind of want your big player, your fly half, to kind of step up and organise things. But I couldn't help when I think about that lack of accuracy, that poor attack, and then I made a note of a few players: Zach Mercer, Alex Mitchell, Caden Murley. Well, Caden Murley's back in the squad, but he was dropped. Tommy Freeman. Like, England have got players with who do a bit something different and a bit of X factor, and those guys have gone in favour of guys that are very good at what they do, but maybe a little bit more predictable. And what I liked about Wales, and I will commend Warren Gatland for, is it feels like he said, do you know what, if we just try and play, for want of a better phrase, Gatland ball, if we just try and bosh it up, we don't have the personnel to do that. We need to do something different. So it feels like Wales are going, all right, we'll speed up the game a little bit. And in the second half, it was noticeable how much quicker Wales were. The ruck speed was faster. Thomas Williams came on and sort of sped things up. They've got guys off the bench who are very mobile. Nicky Smith off the bench. Wainwright's a mobile option. You imagine he might be on the bench for Wales as well. Elliot D as well. So I quite like Wales. In the last 20 minutes, you feel like they could, speed things up and let rip. And Mike Forshaw, who had a tough start to his tenure as Wales defence coach, seems like now he's had a bit of time with his squad, his defence is bedding itself in. So as much as you want to say England's attack was a bit blunt, Wales' defence I thought was really good. So there we go. What else can we say about that game? Just on a couple of off rugby points, Wales' shirts, that's an abomination. Go compare. Sponsor, number, then the name of the player, small underneath. No. I know Wales rugby needs money, and I'm all for making you money. But I thought Jones was the most popular name in Wales, but it turns out it's Go Compare after all that. Talked about Lewis Rees-Zammit, nice quads, which we've got a good close-up of. Apparently Josh Navidi was DJing at half-time as well. Nice to see him, the ledge. Dan Bigger's got a lovely tan. He's been in France and enjoying that. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I'm a bit deflated, if I'm perfectly honest, as an English fan. There was one moment, that's it. I just made a note of this. Again, I'm just doing this video straight away, having watched the game. 10 minutes to go. England are 11 points down, have the ball in the middle of the park, and they put up a box kick. And that's when I talked about the ambition that Warren Gatland's side is starting to show. I think a lot of England fans would accept defeat if you roll the dice. And like, for example, Australia fans, when they reflect on the game against New Zealand earlier, or in the middle of the night, last night, I think those Australia fans will be going, all right, yeah, fair enough, Eddie, I see. Maybe I see where you're trying to get to, and maybe I judged you a bit too quickly. I think England fans, it's probably the same with Wales. I imagine you're probably feeling very happy, obviously, if you're a Wales fan. If you're an England fan, I think you could accept a defeat if you felt like we were just having a go down swinging. But maybe that's not Steve Borthwick's way, and maybe his plan will come to light. On for players who played themselves in or out of a World Cup squad, I'm going to be at Twickenham on Monday for the announcement of the Rugby World Cup squad for England. I'll be interviewing some players and stuff and doing some videos from Twickenham. So hit subscribe on the channel, and I'll catch you there for that. But yeah, I think playing themselves in, if there was any doubt, then Lewis Ludlam is in. I think he probably was already in anyway, but he's just cemented that fact. Maybe Joe Marchant. I think that might be it in terms of England's players. And in terms of the ones who've played themselves out of a spot, I think that could cost Max Malins or Joe Thocken-Singer their spot, potentially. And he probably will take 3 10s, but could that cost Marcus Smith his spot? I don't know. I'm not sure. What do you think about that? I think he will take him and should take him because he is a difference maker. But I wanted to see Marcus Smith run the show and he didn't. I'm a bit disappointed about that. Got to say, well played to Wales. Totally deserved the win. Rode their luck in the first half and then took the chances in the second half, and fortune favours the brave. In fact, I should have done this at the very start. Red. Well done, Wales. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. I'm Tim. This is Egg Chasers. I'll see you on the next video.